20-year-old Oregon man, Tyler Watson, he's filing the first lawsuit against both Dick's Sporting Goods and Walmart. He's saying age discrimination. They refuse to sell him a rifle. Both retailers restricting gun sales to adults 21 and older. This is after the Florida high school massacre. Oregon state law lets residents, though, buy shotguns or rifles starting at age 18. Let's take a check of the stocks. Dick's closing the day in the green. Walmart, end of the day, in the red. Let's bring in the best guy on this, the best judge on this. He is judicial analyst, Judge Napolitano. Good to see you, Judge. Does he have a case? What do you think?
He has a very good case.
Really?
Because Oregon, like New Jersey and New York, prohibits age discrimination starting at age 18. The federal prohibition on age discrimination starts at age 40 and ends at age 70. You're only in a protected class between 40 and 70. Oregon, New Jersey, New York, Illinois, California start at 18 and go beyond 70. So, stated differently, Dick's can't refuse to sell a lawful product to someone on the basis of age unless they're below 18.
You know what's interesting, Judge? Age discrimination lawsuits are usually labor-related. Is it covered under equal protection and civil rights laws?
It is covered under what Oregon calls its law against discrimination, which has other bases
so it's a state law.
Correct. Than the federal law. For example, the Civil Rights Act of 64 does not protect age below age 40. Oregon's state version of it protects age down to age 18. Same in New Jersey, New York, California, and Illinois. But this is very strange bedfellows. The kid that wants the gun is a very serious political conservative / libertarian. The statutes that protect age were put in there by the most left-wing elements in the Oregon legislature.
Wow.
Because in the old days, a gun seller could sell to whomever he wanted. If he thought that you looked like you weren't worthy of a gun, he'd say no. If he thought you looked too young and too immature, he'd say no. They changed that law,
so
and now it's being used against
That is
them.
really, what an irony there. Now, look at Walmart not backing down. Here's what a spokesman is saying, quote, "We stand behind our decision. We're going to defend ourselves. While we have not seen this complaint, we will respond as appropriate with the court." I mean, does Walmart, they've got a legal ground to stand on?
Again, it's different in every state. But in Oregon, I would just use New Jersey. We'll take two of the coasts as examples. They will lose. And I would suggest that somebody file a class action so that you don't have hundreds of individual lawsuits. You have one in each state. The court will end it.
So do you think the NRA could pick up this guy and use him as a class action lawsuit filing?
Hire plaintiffs' class action lawyers. The case will be won on motion. They won't even have to try it.
Really?
Now, unfortunately, he might be 21 by the time the case is resolved. So an 18-year-old might be a better plaintiff, a named plaintiff for the class. But the class will win in those states.
In those states, got it.
Not win in Texas or other states where you don't have that protection down to age 18.
Got it. Now look at this story. A North Carolina salesman quitting his job at Dick's Sporting Goods in protest of the new gun sales policy. Fox News interviewed him yesterday. Watch.
You can serve in the military, you can vote at 18, but, I mean, you can't buy a gun at Dick's Sporting Goods, a constitutional right. I'm sure they weren't happy as I was leaving the store. I think I was doing pretty well at Dick's Sporting Goods. However, they understood. They were great managers and great other employees there, but just those corporate policies, I couldn't handle it anymore. I don't think banning ARs or changing the age limit by any means is going to help stop these shootings. I mean, if you look at the statistics on it, I mean, how many of them were actually below the age of 21? I mean, the vast majority were over the age of 21 that actually did these mass shootings.
I mean, that's the debate. Raising the age and banning AR-15 sales will stop mass shootings. What's your reaction?
I happen to agree with him. Now,
really?
Banning AR-15s is unconstitutional. What do I mean by that? When Justice Scalia wrote the Heller decision, which defined the right to keep and bear arms as a personal right, he said, what do arms mean? Arms mean weapons that are the same level of sophistication as the government has. I'm looking at our stage manager here, who's a former sergeant in the Army, knows what I'm talking about. Why? Because if the government were taken over by a madman who tried to confiscate our weapons, we need the same strength of weapons with which to resist the government. Why did we win the American Revolution against the British? Because we had Kentucky long guns that shot 400 feet. The British had old-fashioned muskets that shot 200 feet. Doesn't take a genius to figure out who's going to win that war.
Yeah. Without the Second Amendment, what? We'd be a nation
with the Second Amendment, we'd be a nation of sheep. We'd be subject to whatever the government wanted to do to us. We'd have no ability to resist.